In a quiet valley surrounded by misty mountains, there was an old monastery carved into the side of a cliff. Time had worn its stones smooth, and the sound of bells echoed through the valley each dawn. People from faraway lands often came here to seek wisdom from an ancient monk known as Master Lin, a man whose calm eyes seemed to see through every storm of the heart. One cold winter morning, a young man named Taro arrived at the monastery. His face was pale with exhaustion, and his eyes carried the dull shadow of defeat. He bowed before the master and said, "Master Lin, I have lost everything. My work, my family's trust, even my will to keep going. I feel powerless. Please tell me, how can I find strength again when I have none left?" Master Lin gazed at him silently, then said, "Come with me." They walked up a narrow stone path until they reached a garden of withered bamboo. The wind whispered through dry leaves, creating a lonely sound. "Do you see this bamboo?" Master Lin asked. Taro nodded. The old monk continued, "5 years ago, I planted these seeds along with the cherry blossoms down there. The cherry trees bloomed after one spring. But this bamboo, it showed nothing, not even a sprout. For 5 long years, I watered it every day, even when there was no sign of life. Many monks told me to stop, but I didn't." He smiled softly. "Then one morning it shot up, taller than any tree in the valley, in just a few weeks. Do you know why?" Taro shook his head. "Because," Master Lin said, "for 5 years it was growing its roots, deep and strong, beneath the ground, where no one could see. Without those roots, it could never rise high." The young man stood silent, the wind brushing his face. The old monk continued, his voice like calm water. "You feel powerless because you only look at what's visible, the failures, the pain, the emptiness. But strength, real strength, grows in silence. It grows when you keep standing even when the world gives you no reason to. The seed doesn't shout while growing its roots." Taro lowered his gaze. "But, Master, what if I don't even have the will to keep standing?" Master Lin smiled and picked up a small clay cup from the ground. He filled it with water and placed it in Taro's hands. "Hold it still." Taro tried, but his hands trembled. The water spilled out. The master said gently, "See? When your hands shake, you lose what you're trying to hold. The same happens with the mind. When fear and despair shake your heart, strength slips away. So first, still your heart. Sit, breathe, be where your feet are." He guided Taro to sit beneath a bare tree. "Listen to the wind. Feel the air in your lungs. That is life. Still here, still with you. You have lost things, yes, but not everything. The breath in you is proof that strength still lives somewhere deep inside." For the next few weeks, Taro stayed at the monastery. Every day he followed the monks, carrying water, chopping wood, sweeping the courtyards. At first, his body ached, his thoughts wandered, and the weight of his failures haunted him. But slowly he began to notice small things: the warmth of sunlight on the stone floor, the taste of rice after a long morning's work, the peace in the rhythmic sound of temple bells. One evening, as the sun sank behind the mountains, Master Lin called him again. "Taro," he said, "what have you learned so far?" Taro thought for a long moment, then answered, "That peace doesn't mean having no pain. It means not letting pain control you. I used to think strength came from winning or achieving. But now I see it comes from standing still when the storm passes through you." The master smiled. "Then you have found the secret. The ancient one that even the wind remembers. Strength is not something you find outside yourself. It is the quiet root growing within you, waiting for your patience." Months later, Taro left the monastery. His steps were still slow, but his eyes had changed, no longer filled with despair, but calm and steady. Before he left, Master Lin handed him a bamboo seed wrapped in cloth. "Take this," the master said. "Plant it when you return home. When you feel weak again, remember that growth often hides in silence. Water it even when you see nothing, for that is the test of faith." Years passed. Taro rebuilt his life, not quickly but with steady grace. He worked, helped others, and slowly found meaning again. Outside his small home, a bamboo grove grew tall, whispering softly with every breeze, a living reminder of the lesson that had changed his life. And whenever travelers asked him how he overcame his despair, he would smile and point to the bamboo. "The secret," he said, "is not to be unbreakable, but to bend and rise again." Moral of the story: true strength is not loud or immediate. It grows quietly, beneath your pain, in patience, gratitude, and faith. When you feel powerless,